that A is less than B. So I can say assert at the initialization point at the constructor, I can say, before you continue, just, okay, check out and see and be sure that B is greater than A. And if it's if A is not greater than B, then you break the process and will prevent me from seeing the next instruction as I write them. So actually, okay, as you can see here, okay, so as you can see here, so we put the assert inside, okay, inside the init at the first line. So if anyone use that without any correct parameters, actual parameters, so will be a problem here. So other things that I wanted to say here, this is the override, okay? And please remember here, there is a two option of method calling in Python. I don't want to say that from the starting, but I write it as a comment. So look at this. When you are printing p.length, Python actually will take the range and then will pass the length and the p. But this is an intermediate. This is a kind of is a historical things. You don't need to use it, but this is emphasize what is the self. You know, a programming language is a kind of evolutionary things. So things started like invoking the methods as you can see here by the name of the class, then the method, and we pass the object. So that's what Python started. Then they moved to object-oriented programming notation and approach, and they start using this because that they save all the time the self. So calling external function, what we meant by that? This is an external function. As you can see, this function is defined out of the range. So it's called an external function, and it uses an object of type range. So we can use it like this instruction is at left of axis. So this is a simple method, simple function that takes a range and check to see if the range is at the left side of the axis. So it checks that the both A and B are less than 0. Okay. There is sometimes a need for special re-implementation of special or overriding, what we call, of a special type of operators. Let's see now. Okay. So for example, here, as you can see, there is a class, I call it fraction. I'm not going to explain all of this, but a little of it. This fraction will have two properties. The what we call the numerator and the denominators, and using them we can represent any fraction. Okay. So now, for example, the self, I represent that. Okay, if I define one fraction, let's say here. Okay, this is the n1, and I wanted now to print number 1. Let's see what's happened. Okay, and let me print some message so a line that we will not take care after what is output after it. So please look at here. So I typed the fraction, okay? as some representation. So I can type, for example, 8, let's say 17. So I run it. Okay, as you can see here, I type the representation of that object. Now, please look here. Here is the assertion that I rethink when I copy and paste the range. So I remember that I have a demo here, so I can't. So I can demonstrate it here. So be sure that I want to be sure that I don't need to represent things like this. For example, to represent a fraction with 8.8 and 17. So I type an assertion statement that ensure that both of them are of type int, as you can see. The first argument and the second argument. As I will run this code, that code will break the program. As you can see, so the program is breaked, and it's very good. So the programmer or the developers can recode this or revisit the code and correct it. So this is, I also write it on the document. So to override other things such as string, sometimes let me revisit that code. Okay, so I defined it. I defined it 2 object of type fractions. The first n1, the second n2. Now I want to define the operation, the operator plus. So how can I use that? If you look here, after I print the entry, if I print, let me clear here and print again, run the code. As you can see here, so I will get 4 divided by 4, which is 1, with this representation. So the most important thing that how I got 4 divided by 4 and not the value itself. And I need to now to introduce you for some of the predefined operators, what we call it, special operators, that we can implement them. Okay, one of them is add, sub, equal, length, and so on. So you don't need to stand here and study all of them, but you will work with that several times when we're especially working with mathematics. Okay, but here the approach is to mention that when we are overriding, we can overriding more than one operator or function. And for this example, in order that the n1 plus n2 will return for me a new object. So as Python requested, they requested me to define the add operator. So by defining the add operator with this equation of mathematics, I'm not going to dive here. So this is a simple equation. But what is important is that this kind of fraction class will get other object from the same class. And it's a very handy way to understand how it's powerful, how much is powerful the object-oriented programming approach, so that I can write in simple way, okay, maybe complicated here to understand, but it's a very simple way when you practice yourself. And as you can see, so I could here, okay, use the other in order to calculate the both equation and then return a new object of type fraction. Okay, so this is one of the other example why we need to override. But believe me, you don't need to override this kinds of object most of the time you will override methods that you defined in